Night Live is it's all about foundations and why they are still important no matter what your level, no matter what your horse's level, no matter where you're at in regards to everything. So I just thought I'd share a few I guess ideas with you about why I believe that foundations are still important and why I believe that foundations are the most important thing no matter what your training level or your horse's training level. So I came up with a few ideas and I'm just going to share them with you because this is a topic that I talk to people a lot about because I get a lot of people sort of that have the attitude or the culture or the approach to foundation where they really believe they don't need to do foundation anymore, that it's something to move beyond, I guess. And I know that our entire horse world and our entire horse community is all about you know, progression, and it doesn't matter what discipline you're in, there's different levels within every discipline, and I guess we're always sort of striving to get to the next level, the next level, the next level. And that's great because progress is the mother of motivation, and I absolutely believe in that, and I absolutely believe that that's vitally important. But what I also need to stress is that what I know, particularly about people at high level competition, is that what you find those people practicing or training is basically foundations. Because show me a horse that is 10 out of 10 on their foundations and I'll show you a horse that's a high-level performance horse. Essentially, any horse, a high-level performance horse, is going to have exceptional foundations. And like anything, we need to keep training our foundations in order to keep them solid and keep them fresh and keep them, you know, not necessarily at the surface, but definitely in the horse's, you know, frontal lobe, so to speak. We want to keep them there. We want to be able to tap into those foundation skills whenever we need to. We don't want to have to sort of reteach the foundation skills because we haven't done anything with them for, you know, an exceptional amount of time, etc., etc. So welcome everybody on Facebook. I can see all the green lights lighting up to tell me that there's people logging in, and welcome to everyone watching me live on Instagram. So the first thing that I use, if I think about Cooper or I think about my higher level horses and I think about my foundation skills, what I primarily use my foundation skills for with my performance horse is a structured warm-up. So depending on whose foundation skills you follow, whether it's, you know, my foundation exercises, which there's 10 of, whether it's another trainer, and pretty much every trainer is going to have their own set of foundation skills, even though they're probably similar in their presentation or similar in their ideas. Some might have 5, some might be like me and have 10, some might have 15, it doesn't really matter. So you might have your own. You might have just established a set of foundation type skills that you like all of the horses that you ride or handle to have. So depending on what they are, I use my ground skills to give me a structured warm-up that will work all the muscles. So I know that if I go through all of my ground exercises with my horses and I use all of those ground exercises as a warm-up, I know that my horse has been, I know pretty much all of the muscles have been used in some capacity, and I know that I've increased blood flow to the area. I know that I've started to stretch individual muscle groups. I know that I've started to combine the use of muscle groups and basically wake my horse up and get him in with what we're about to do. So my warm-up is about having I like to call it a cup of coffee with my horse. I always say my warm-up's my cup of coffee. My warm-up allows my horse to get in the program, get in the office and say, okay, we're doing something, I'm in the office. So number one, my foundation skills, I use them as a warm-up, as a level of communication to basically set the scene for my horse. The second thing within that structured warm-up is that my ground exercises do allow me to work all of the individual muscles and individual muscle groups, both singularly and combined. So by the time I've done all of my ground exercises, I know that I've pretty much touched on everything from head to toe, shoulders, ribs, forward motion, backward motion, you know, shortening the body, lengthening the body, getting the inside hind leg to step through, getting that beautiful lateral bend, getting the horse to carry himself correctly. All of those things, I know that I've touched base on those if I go through my foundation skills as part of my warm-up. The next thing that I love using my foundation skills as a warm-up for is because they are respect building. So whilst they've got excellent benefits in regards to my horse using his body correctly and warming up the muscles, and you've got all that physical benefit, it's got a mental benefit in that it is building respect between my horse and I, and it's really allowing both of us to hold our space and I guess set and reset on a continual basis the ground rules, if you like. So there's definitely the benefit of respect building, and then of course you've got the benefit of correct body work. So if you've got a horse that you know, maybe has a few sore spots or something like that, they're going to be revealed within those ground exercises as a structured warm-up. So number one, foundation exercises, excellent for a warm-up, both mentally, physically, and as a touch base, you know, allowing me to hold my space, allowing my horse to hold my space, and basically allowing us both to drop in to the arena and just settle into our work for the day. On the other side of that, the second thing that I wanted to talk about is basically the opposite of a warm-up, and that's the cool down. So what I love about using my foundation exercises or foundation exercises as a structured cool down is that I know, again, that all of the body parts are going to be used, and when I present them as a cool down exercise, I know that I'm helping those muscles relax down, stretch out. We're encouraging that beautiful blood flow, but we're not straining the muscles too much, and we're allowing the muscles to come back down from maybe what is a heavier workload if we've been working on collective work or something like that. So absolutely love using my foundation skills as a cool down for basically the same reasons as a warm-up, but obviously I'm going to be presenting them in a different way because you know, warming up the muscles is different to cooling the muscles down, but I'm still going through the same set of foundation exercises. Number three is that my foundation skills, they provide me with a platform to be able to present my core skills to the horse. So what I mean by that is the way that I have structured my foundation skills is that we've got a set of 10 skills. And when we've got a baby horse, we're using those 10 skills to establish maybe respect. And then when we've got a intermediate horse and we start to introduce the concept of our core skills, which may include accuracy, focus, self-carriage, collection, engagement, balance, transitions, forward, confidence, etc., etc. I think we've got 8 or 9 pairs of core skills within our program, so you're talking about 18 skills that I can't really think of off the top of my head. But what I can do is I can take those foundation skills and I can start to use them to encourage my horse to learn about the focus of the core skills. So say I'm doing a collection and engagement focus in terms of my core skill, I can use my 10 foundation skills to promote collection and engagement with my horse. So even though I may be doing a hindquarter yield or a turn on the haunches or a forequarter yield, I can present those actions or those maneuvers within the foundation skills with the specific focus of collection and engagement, or the specific focus of balance and transitions. So it's kind of like, if you look at it in human terms, you might go for a run. Let's just use running as a basic example. If I was going for a run, I might be going for a run as a warm-up to go to the gym and work on strength and conditioning training. I might be going for a run to improve my cardiovascular health. I might be going for a run to improve my endurance or my long distance fitness, and I might be going for a run for any other number of reasons. So even though the basic skill, running or a hindquarter yield or a lateral bend or a forequarter yield or circling or back up or forward or whatever it is, may look the same on the surface, the focus is different, and therefore we're presenting those skills in a different way to the horse. And he gets confident from that because he goes, well, I know it's a circle, or I know it's a back up, or I know it's a lateral bend, but I also can sense that she's asking me for something more, and the horse gets to explore within the confidence of the skill what it is that we're asking him to do. And then when he gives us collection and engagement within that skill, then we can release, and the horse begins to learn about giving us collection and engagement as part of our lateral bend or forward or whatever it is that we're trying to focus on. Number 4, the reason I love my foundation skills is that they give us a toolbox if our horse gets nervous or worried or something like that. So sometimes we might look at our performance horse, and often we've used our foundation skills in terms of our young horse or our baby horse as a way to check whether we feel that the horse is ready to ride. So we might go through all of our ground exercises to make sure that we feel safe getting in the saddle. And so then once we feel like we don't need to check if the horse is safe to mount anymore because, we've been riding for 2 years and, oh, it's old Bill and he's completely fine, we tend to chuck our foundation skills out the window instead of saying, well, now I can use, if I keep these ground exercises relatively fresh in my horse and I keep them in there in his education and practiced education, what I can start to think about is that if my horse gets nervous, and if I am stretching my horse and I am taking my horse to new places and cross-training with my horse and trying new things and keeping our training interesting, then what I can do, I'm probably going to come across an occasion or two where my horse does actually get a little bit nervous. And when I've been training my ground exercises on a regular or semi-regular basis, and they are really at the surface of my horse's training, what I can do is I can start to use those to give the horse confidence to calm down, because the horse gets stressed about something that he's frightened of, and he begins to think, oh, lateral bend, I know this one, I get confidence. Oh, hindquarter yield, I know this one, I'm getting confidence. Oh, back up, I know this one, I'm getting confidence. So we start to pull all these familiar tools out of the toolbox, and the horse gets confident from that and calms down in his worry. By the same token, it is also helpful for us when we get worried. If we know these ground skills inside and out, and we do get to a place where perhaps we're worried and the horse might not particularly be worried, but we might be worried, then we can pull out our ground exercises, because they become a set of tools that we don't have to think about very much when we're presenting the tools. So, once we're fluid in the tools, we might be able to do a lateral bend without thinking, or a hindquarter yield without thinking, or a forequarter yield without thinking. And so then if we're nervous, we can just think, okay, ground exercises. I know how to do ground exercises. Let's move and let's start executing these ground exercises. So they're really great for us if we're worried as well, and the horse might be perfectly fine. The next one is familiarity builds confidence. So pretty much exactly what I just spoke about in regards to a nervous horse or a nervous human, When I am using my ground exercises on a regular basis, they give my horse confidence. So when I look at a horse like Cooper, who I may be, training some new things with Cooper, or pushing him a little bit out of his comfort zone, or maybe really pushing his physical or mental ability, what I can start to do is use my ground exercises to maintain his confidence within those higher level maneuvers where he might get a little bit bothered and he might be thinking, I don't know what she's asking me to do, I don't know what a piaffe is, I don't know what a pirouette is, I don't know what this is. Once I see my horse getting a little bit stressed with the work that I'm presenting him, I can go straight into my foundation skills and say, don't worry, Cooper, let's just do a lateral bend. And he'll go, oh, I know lateral bend, that's fine. I can give that to you any day of the week. So it makes him really confident in regards to his higher level work. And then I can go ahead and pull him out of the foundation skills, put him into his higher level work, and try and maintain his confidence with my foundation skills, and in turn maintain his confidence within the new skills that I'm trying to teach him. The next one is, the more we do them, the better we become. So this is all about the path to mastery. I see a lot of people do the ground exercises, learn the ground exercises, move beyond the ground exercises because my horse doesn't need to know the ground exercises anymore. I know he's fine to ride. I don't need to check. I don't need to do a pre-flight check anymore. So, hey, I don't need to do my ground exercises. And 12 months down the track, I go and visit them, or they turn up to a clinic and they think, and they say, oh, I haven't done these foundation exercises for a year. And it shows. And so I feel that it's really, I guess it's kind of a waste. I feel like it's a real waste to learn a complete set of skills and then basically let them fall by the wayside and not worry about maintaining that set of skills. So I guess it's kind of like that TV show they used to run here in Australia called Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, where they used to put adults against kids that were in the fifth grade, obviously, and those kids would be, they would basically ask questions that were all at a fifth grade level, and of course most of the time the kids would be really quick and the kids would know the answers because obviously that's what they're learning at school, and then the adults would not know what the answers to those questions were because they hadn't really looked at the answers or studied that material for, you know, however long it had been since they were in the fifth grade, so decades really. So I'm not necessarily saying that we should all know our fifth grade math, but what I am saying is that when it comes to our horses, something as fundamental and important as our ground exercises, I feel that part of being a master within the art of our horsemanship, that we should be masters at our foundation skills. And I'd even go as far to say that if you are not a master at your foundation skills, then you would not be able to master the higher level maneuvers, even though you might train the higher level maneuvers for 2 years and not train the foundation skills for a year. I believe that the foundation skills offer a real foundation, a real fundamental way with horses, and a fundamental way that we can interact with horses, and they improve our feel, our timing, our relation to the horse, our soft feel to the horse, both physical, spiritual and mental with the horse. The foundation skills are keeping us on point on all of those levels. So I think it's a real waste to sort of go through it and go, yep, my horse is 5 years old now, I ride him every day, he doesn't need the foundation exercises and neither do I, and then you kind of throw all those skills out the window. So I really feel like we should be trying to master our foundation skills and keep our skills fresh, and then the better we become, providing that we don't become complacent within our foundation skills and simply go through the motions. If you find yourself going through the motions, then most definitely it's not the same. You're probably actually going to get quite sloppy, and I always relate something like this to driving a vehicle. I'm sure most of us can relate to driving a vehicle and ending up at our destination and really not remembering getting to our destination because we've been on autopilot. And sometimes that would be under the umbrella of mastery, but also sometimes that is under the umbrella of complacency, and there's probably a level of concern there that if something had gone wrong, that we may not have had our wits about us to respond to that. So it's not just about driving from A to B, it's about being an active driver. So it's not just about going through the motions of our foundation skills, it's about being an active participant within the foundation skills and presenting them to the horse at a world-class level. The more that we do the foundation exercises and the more they become part of our unconscious effort, so we master the foundation skills. Once you've mastered a set of skills, then when you are under stress or are under pressure, they are the things that are going to come out in times of stress. So if you don't have your foundation exercises mastered and you find yourself in a time of stress and you don't know what to do, what you'll find is that your body will go into a normal human reaction, which may be freeze, it may be fright, it may be flight. There could be any number of these instinctive reactions to being in that situation. Whereas if you've trained your foundation exercises well enough and long enough and they're in there as a mastery, then your body can go in and think in a time of stress, even when your adrenaline's flowing, and think, I need to laterally bend the horse, this is what I need to do to get control of this situation. So that's what I really want to do when I'm training my foundation skills. It's not only a set of skills that I'm putting on the horse, but it's a set of skills for me, and hopefully it becomes a set of skills that I can use when I am maybe in a stressful situation, and then I am able to perform under that level of pressure. I've only got 2 left. You guys are fantastic listeners all the time. If you only have a short period of time for training, I speak to a lot of people and they might say, oh, I didn't work the horse today because I only had 10 minutes. Oh, I didn't work the horse, I only had 5 minutes. I didn't work the horse, I only had 15 minutes, etc., etc., etc. What the foundations do, once you've got them at a level where they're quite fluid and you're not in teaching phase anymore, your ground exercises give you something that you can present to the horse. He can relate to you and come back to you with the exercises that you're asking him to do. And really, it's not about timing, but you can go through your foundation exercises, depending on whose you're using, whether they're mine or, let's say, I can go through my foundation exercises in 5 to 10 minutes, quite smoothly, with finesse, with focus and concentration, and very fluidly. So I really look at that as something that I can do, even if I've only got 5 minutes when I'm feeding my horses. I can put a halter on and run through my ground exercises and my foundation exercises particularly, and I'm adding a benefit to my horse in the benefits that we spoke about at the start of this talk. So the final tip that I wanted to share with you about why foundation exercises are just as important no matter what your level of training, and there probably are a few more that we haven't talked about tonight, but I think we've spoken about 10 or so, so that's something to hopefully get you thinking about honing your foundation skills and putting them back into your regular program if they have been not done for a while. The final thing is that they are absolutely fantastic for bringing a horse back into work. So one of the horses we had at the foundation clinic over the weekend is an advanced level horse, and he had not been ridden for a couple of months, maybe 2 or 3, I can't quite remember. And it was fantastic to bring him to a foundation clinic because it was just enough confident building material that he knew what he was being asked to do, and therefore it wasn't stressful on his body, it wasn't stressful on his mind, but it was just enough to get him and his rider you know, communicating, moving their bodies, starting to think about moving in a particular way, and stretching those muscles and getting the blood flowing and waking all those muscles up in view of coming back into work. So it was really great to see the foundation principles being applied to an advanced horse. And I have to be honest, I pretty much use them every single time I work with Cooper in some capacity or another. And he really has done them thousands of times. As you guys know, he's often my demo horse, and he has demonstrated and done those exercises as warm-ups pretty much every single time I ride him. And even this afternoon when I was out doing some liberty and some ground exercises with him, I absolutely use them as a introduction, settle in, come and drop into the office. So I really hope that you enjoyed tonight's Wednesday Night Live. Please go ahead and share it with anyone or tag anyone in the comments. I will go ahead and put it up as a replay, so even if you tag someone who might be interested and they can watch it later or share it on your profile, whatever it is. I hope that you enjoyed tonight's Wednesday Night Live. I look forward to next week. I know last week I did say that we would have a special guest, and that didn't pull off for us this week, but I think it'll be next week, and you guys will hear about that probably on Friday, because I'll start doing call outs for questions and stuff like that. So thank you so much for joining me on Wednesday Night Live. I really appreciate it. It's great to see everyone saying hello and things like that. Hi Helen, Hillary, Kylie, Steve, Sarah.